I'm going to give you some advice that worked for me that I can assure you will be a struggle, but it's worth it. When you begin your relationship, don't connect with your woman on social media. I'm going to show you 3 ways that waiting to connect on social media is going to make your relationship more real, you're going to have less anxiety, and you're going to create an authentic connection. Fight the urge, my brother. Let me show you how. Let's get it. Okay, so I know it's ironic that you're watching this on social media with me telling you not to follow the woman you're dating on social media. The irony isn't lost on me. That said, when you connect on social from the beginning, you're getting a glimpse into her life. Here's what you have to keep in mind as you're looking at her page. You're looking at highlights of her life. Also, she's crafting a narrative for any number of reasons you may not be aware of. For example, some people subconsciously want to appear rebellious because they no longer have to listen to their parents or they left an abusive relationship. Others may want to give you the full human highlight reel, like Dominique Wilkins, only the best shots on travel and vacation, and even when they're at home. It's in the bubble bath with a glass of wine and a book, not a care in the world, or so it seems. Social media means many different things to different people. Some people are using it for marketing, some are journaling, some are showing independence, some are using it to process pain. Others are throwing shade and being passive aggressive in every other post. Social media is not a one-size-fits-all jacket that everyone puts on and wears exactly the same. It's customizable to our natural personalities, thoughts, wants, needs, frustrations, acceptance, rejection, joy, and abuse. When you're dating, you have to be aware of this. Social can do more harm than good early in your relationship. So in the early days of social media, I made a conscious decision. I decided I wouldn't friend or follow anyone I was dating unless we made it to the point of being engaged. This probably sounds impossible in the modern world, but it's not. Social media has natural drawbacks to why you need to have a deeper connection before you play together in cyberspace. Does anyone say that anymore? That kind of feels like a 90s word. I'm not sure. Let's share 3 drawbacks of social and how to overcome them. The first drawback, social media is not reality. Many of us have 3, 4, 5, even 6-hour screen times. Some of us are looking at a screen during our waking hours more than we aren't. By doing so, it's easy to develop a skewed sense of reality. We're looking at the professional woman talking about her great career, the entrepreneur giving you the motivational post at least once a day, and yes, the hot girl trying to get flued out. All of these things can be some component of reality, but they're incomplete. The professional woman could be balling, but yo, she hates her job and her life, and she's bringing that energy home every day. But the social media is a public reminder to her employer that she's loyal. The entrepreneur is sharing the inspirational post, but what you don't know is behind the scenes, that post is more for her than for her audience because she's over it. Entrepreneurship can be unstable and unpredictable. And yes, I can't leave out the hot girl. Sure, she's getting flown out, but she's fronting for the gram and all of her relationships are transactional. So if you met her offline and you're trying to get to know her for real and you're seeing this on IG, you're confused and likely disillusioned from the first reel that you watch. When you wait to connect on social, you choose to live in reality only. Bruh, listen to me. The reality is social media is not the real world. It's a heavily weighted, consciously or subconsciously designed avatar of who we really are. If you don't connect early on, you get the opportunity to see who she is with you and only with you. It's not to say you can't Google her. You may want to make sure she's not a stalker or worse. If you connect fully and engage in person through texting or go all the way back in the day and actually make a phone call, it's going to create a reality-based relationship. There are no preconceived notions or misconceptions based on your interpretation of her social media. Also, not connecting on social too early gives you a chance to not get caught up in the fantasy world of social media together. You want to have more intimate conversations than to say, babe, I saw your post and I noticed you got 25 likes. That's awesome. I'm not saying we can't talk about social media ever. That's almost unrealistic in this time in history. But you can talk about everything outside of social media first. There are things that we really care about that are far more important than the fact that someone with a blue check commented on your last post. Listen to me when I say the feed is deceptive. I remember I was talking to a friend a few years ago. He told me that he and his wife were having some serious marital problems. I was just looking at his feed over the past few days thinking, they're enjoying the best life together ever. But here's the thing. They were both posting that similar kind of stuff, but they had been going through marital problems for months. I had no idea. I brought it up to him during our conversation. When I mentioned how happy they looked, he just looked at me with no words. I knew what the silence meant. It was to show what they thought they wanted the world to see. A lot of women out there are going to show you what they believe others want you to see. I'm not saying they're out here unabashedly lying. I'm saying they're putting on a good face. They don't want you to see the trauma, the pain, the grief, the recovery, or maybe the lack of recovery. They want to look good in the feed. You can't figure out anyone's life through their social media feed. You may get the rare person that's self-aware enough and comfortable enough to be fully authentic and transparent on social media, but even then, it's an incomplete story. In the best case scenario, it's what they want to tell you when they want you to know it. Mentally, you weave the story together and you're subconsciously putting more stock into the story they present to you than what you're learning about them when you're in person. Don't try to figure them out through social media. So if you looked at my social media, you would know that I'm passionate about relationships, helping men, the occasional motivational post, a rare travel photo, and golf. That's some of what I do, but none of it is who I am. No one can figure me out through social, and you can't figure women out through social either. Your connection will be stronger and have more longevity if you're not allowing your mind to decipher who she is through her social media feed. Your connection can be skewed. As I said previously, social isn't reality. It's incomplete at best and often deceptive. If you're dating someone and much of your connection is through social media, it's a high probability that your connection will be skewed. Your relationship can't exist vicariously through social media, at least not a strong, cohesive relationship. Social media creates an opportunity for one of the biggest obstacles in dating today: creating an authentic connection. So I'm a firm believer in these three foundational components of successful, authentic relationships: attraction, chemistry, and compatibility. When you're dating and you're getting to know each other, you find physical attraction when you're in person, not on the internet. You develop chemistry through conversations and each other's presence. You find out if you're compatible by working together and seeing if your lives take shape to fit together like pieces of a puzzle. All of these components require authenticity. Social media is the least authentic connection we can have with someone we're trying to get to know. Work together to create the authentic connection, as you'll find your connection is one of the most important things to your relationship having a chance to succeed. And once you decide to get engaged and married and move forward, also having a chance to thrive. You'll notice I mentioned to wait until you're engaged to follow each other on social. Why engagement? That's when you both committed to each other. Social media is an afterthought at that point. You know each other well. Your lives fit together. Social media is then a fun accessory to your lives by this time, not a foundational component, which it never should be. My man, if you stayed around to the end, I have a bonus point to not connecting on social too early. It's easier to make a clean break. If things don't work out, no one really wants to be the guy that doesn't want to see their ex on social media, but also doesn't want to look petty by unfriending them or unfollowing them. It's a lot easier to never have to make that decision. Also, it doesn't leave her in a precarious position going forward. It's also helpful not to see her each day on your feed living her best life, which, let's be real, it's naturally bothering you. But what you don't realize is most days she's thinking about you and grieving the relationship as much or more than you are. It's easier and better for both of you not to deal with any of that. Make a clean break and move forward. No social media trail required. Listen, man, I know it's hard not to connect on social. We do everything based in and around social media these days. Think about it. I don't need to know what she's doing on Facebook. I can call her. The phone actually will dial. It works. I don't need to see her last reel to see what she's thinking. I can text her and ask. If we're both busy during the workday and I just want to hear her voice, I can send her a voice note and wait for her response. It definitely worked for us to develop a deeper connection without social media, and it'll work for you and yours, just like it did for me and mine. Also, it's worth note that when you keep her engaged and connected, and you don't need the online world of social media to do it, you'll be confident that charisma is explicitly your superpower.